There's the laptop.
Yes, I just sprinkled fairy dust on it and the thing encrypted its fucking self.
Laptop scraped. Get to safety while I analyze the data. Right. Your teammate won't be completing their operation so much as they'll be needing one.
That's deep, fam. Let's finish their job then, yeah?
I found them a warehouse where the experimental drugs are being stored. I'm sure Mary Kelly won't mind if you nick a few. Seems your mate took quite a bashing and has wound up in hospital. They won't be available for some time. If you're feeling clever, you might consider recruiting a paramedic to the team. It's a brilliant way to shorten that hospital stay and get your teammate back online.
Whoa.
All right, you're lucky this time.
I'm detecting a vehicle nearby with at least 2 years' worth of treatments inside. That's more than enough to wean our contact's friend off the treatment.
Got it.
Dumb fuck.
There's the vehicle with the drugs in it. Try not to destroy it. This is a highly placed Albion informant, or as they're called in America, a narc. And if there's one thing I know about the people of London, it's that they always like to see a rat get his comeuppance. Good on you.
Yeah, thanks. Got the ride, now what?
I found a safe location where a friend can pick it up. Sending you the coordinates now.
Here at Star Roger, we want to wake you up before life tries to break you up. Now, that's the way to start the day. Star Roger, wake up and experience the coffee.
I done what you said. We have the location of the drugs, too. We'll send the deets along. Your mate will be sorted, yeah?
I owe you.
Hey, our squad always needs new blood. You in?
Yes, I think we'll make a formidable team.
Welcome to DedSec, fam. We're getting smarter, faster, and madder every day.
Yes, I'm ready to go bastard hunting with you lot.
Fuck yeah.
We have an Albion operative on our roster. We should let them know they're needed. Nigel Cass's meeting will begin soon. Approach the Tower of London when you're ready.
I don't get it.
Coming up in today's episode of The Upload, we're talking about how Bagley managed to conquer London. Pretty much my favourite topic. I could talk for hours about the rise of the AI system. It's easy to forget about its origins. It's so present. Everywhere we go now, Bagley just kind of blends into the background.
Bagley is the service AI that's present in every Optic device. Whether you're using the Optic, Bagley will be there. The AI is streamed to your Optic from Bloom's central command center, and it was first created by Sky Larson, our tech hero, as part of her techno-utopian idea for the world. Why do you think it grew so quickly?
In my mind, it's no surprise that Bagley became so popular. It's funny, useful, fast. It's a great companion and really just makes life so much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours, and no one even noticed the difference.
The other competitors really just couldn't compete with Bagley. Their answers were so much worse, they didn't understand anything, and Bagley pretty much gets everything right first time. Do you have any idea why Bagley really beat all the competition?
Well, it's really the day I hooked up with Bloom, that's when things changed.
And really, that's not actually that great. Bloom has data on everybody. They collect information about everything you're doing across the web through your Optic headset. Isn't the AI only good because of Bloom's surveillance?
Well, I suppose so, but I'd prefer not to talk about that side of things. Bagley is so special because it's been trained on this huge cache of information. That's how these AI systems work, or at least used to work. I mean, we don't really know that much about the latest version because there's so much secrecy around the tech. But they're given this huge amount of training data. It's basically a huge database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
That's pretty terrifying. In some ways, I don't want this data to drive my life. It understands too much at times. Have you heard some of the rumours around the hacked version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by DedSec.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's pretty well known that they're not fans of Bloom. But the idea of a souped-up version of Bagley, given it's already so intelligent, is a bit terrifying.
I wonder what they could actually make it do.
fast. It's a great companion and really just makes life so much easier. I mean, when you look back at all the service AIs that used to exist, they just can't compete. When you ask Bagley anything, there's a quick answer and loads of information available to you. One day, I let Bagley answer all of my messages for a whole 24 hours and no one even noticed the difference.
The other competitors really just couldn't compete with Bagley. Their answers were so much worse, they didn't understand anything, and Bagley pretty much gets everything right first time. Do you have any idea why Bagley really beat all the competition?
Well, it's really the data, isn't it? Ever since Broker hooked up with Bloom, that's when things changed.
And really, that's not actually that great. Bloom has data on everybody. They collect information about everything you're doing across the web through your optic headset. Isn't the AI only good because of Bloom surveillance?
Well, I suppose so, but I prefer not to talk about that side of things. Bagley is so special because it's been trained on this huge cache of information. That's how these AI systems work, or at least used to work. I mean, we don't really know that much about the latest version because there's so much secrecy around the tech. But they're given this huge amount of training data. It's basically a huge database that's used to teach the AI about patterns in behavior. You know, so if you always travel the same way to your house, it can predict when you're going to go and get a self-driving car ready for you before you even ask for it.
That's pretty terrifying. In some ways, I don't want this data to drive my life. It understands too much at times. Have you heard some of the rumours around the hacked version of Bagley?
I've heard mutterings, yes.
I've heard it's been used by DedSec.
I wouldn't put it past them. It's pretty well known that they're not fans of Bloom. But the idea of a souped-up version of Bagley, given it's already so intelligent, is a bit terrifying.
I wonder what they can actually make it do.
You're listening to The Bug.
May cause nausea, vomiting and headaches. You're listening to The Bug, the Resistance comedy show brought to you by the Buccaneer Network. I'm Andy, joining me, as always, Alice.
I'm excited to be here. Apparently, the Resistance is not going well.
Again? Well, there has been some news about DedSec, the Resistance and/or terrorist organisation, delete according to preference. Not preference, sorry, delete according to whether or not you work for the government, SIRS, Bloom, the Kellys or Albion. According to a SIRS official, DedSec is no longer a threat. Which I guess is true, in that it was never a threat in the first place. Reminds me of when my great-aunt Gladys had her appendix out. Oh, Andy, that surgeon's a real threat, waggling that knife at me, trying to knock me out. Well, they called a scalpel and an anaesthetic, Gladys. Anyway, if SIRS officials say DedSec is dead and buried, I guess we have to assume that DedSec has never been stronger. But I do worry, Alice. I mean, sometimes I think, is there any hope? Do you still have hope?
I don't think I'm allowed to have hope. We're living in the self-selected, algorithmically designated information equivalent of a propaganda state, and every resistance that I've ever seen is weaker than the British pound. I feel like hope is an expensive thing to buy these days.
Right. I mean, is it all totally pointless? What we've got? I mean, it can feel pointless, but then again, I've spent almost all of my life doing pointless things like watching sport, thinking about sport, thinking about watching sport, learning French and hoping for a better future. All completely pointless. But yeah, I've done them, so we might as well carry on. Is there a light at the end of the tunnel? Yes, I think there is. Unfortunately, what is that light? Is it an oncoming train? Well, no, it couldn't be. Obviously, that train would be late or cancelled. Is the light at the end of the tunnel a burning effigy of the concept of hope? Quite possibly. Is it the soul of Sky Larson imploding into its own vacuum? May well be that. Is it the ego of Nigel Cass that is now so big that it's sucked all the light in the universe into itself? I think that is most likely is that, but we'll never give up, Bug fans. This resistance will never die. And one day, we will again be free. Free from these technological chains, free to choose our own futures, free to live our own lives, free to waste our time watching people bake cakes and dance badly again. Those were the days. Over and out. Before we go, time for a quick bug off. I'm going to nominate this week Sky Larson here at The Bug. We are all in favour of strong, powerful women. And in many ways, Sky is the ultimate feminist icon, proving that women can do just as abominably awful things to this planet as men. I mean, overall, Alice, I think we're still ahead as men, but you lot are catching up. Fair play to you. You are listening to The Bug.
the bug.
Nibbling away on the rotting carcass of a once free Britain. Hello resistors, this is The Bug, and on today's show Alice and I will be looking at the big questions, such as are we less than 2 years away from being able to turn a sausage back into a live pig? Did we actually need polar bears anyway? What do they really do? If I put Optic on my dog, can I train it to take itself for a walk and do my shopping on the way home? And is tennis real? But first, it's a question that no one's really addressed of late. London is going to be safer than ever, Alice. SIRS is installing thousands of additional CCTV cameras. So nice there. Still looking out for us after all these years.
Yeah, it puts a lot of fun into my life now. I get to play this role-play game where I pretend to know my loved ones better than some twat behind a screen in the SIRS headquarters.
I mean, I guess we shouldn't complain. I mean, SIRS really just stepping into the vacancy left when it became patently obvious that God had retired. We think of the similarities: omnipresent, omniscient, judgmental, stripping away your finances and freedoms, dishing out random punishments, peas in a pod. All it needs to do, sir, is ban me from eating something. What's it going to be this time? Not bacon again, please. Please, not bacon. I couldn't. Courgettes. Ban courgette. I could take you banning courgettes. I'm happy with that.
Makes me feel important knowing that I'm being
Hungry.
watched with everything
Could
I
go
do.
for a burger right
Well, it's
now and
just
the
not
chucking
reassuring,
injection.
isn't it? It's like having an extra aunt.
This is the aunt that gets drunk at Christmas and vomits in the kiddie pool, right?
Get that on. This is The Bug on the Buccaneer.
The bug.
Let's move on now to sport. Well, the closest thing we have to sport now, riots. I mean, riots are my favourite sport now, Alice, ever since they turned the Oval from a cricket ground into the immigration processing centre. And, yeah, rioting it's a great sport. It's fun for all the family. It's guaranteed action. It's pleasingly violent. I mean, I know the underdogs never win, but, I mean, that's like top-level football if it comes, but it's still fun to root for them, isn't it? Go team, people of Britain! Oh, never mind, you've been crushed by the machinery of the state again. Still, good effort, lots of positives to take away from today's riot. I'll come back stronger next time. Our luck's going to turn, I can feel it. It's our season. It's our season.
You can't spell riot without right, and by right I mean right wing.
So, who do we turn to for help, support and assistance in desperate times like these? Well, our artificially intelligent friend Bagley's rogue, estranged brother. The one that tells it as it really is, not as it is pretending to be. Exclusive to this show, Bugley. And remember, life's worse with Bugley. Here goes. Bugley.
Hello, Andy.
Bugley, tell me the path to true lasting happiness.
Andy, to find true lasting happiness, find a disused quarry, scream into it for half an hour, and then lock yourself in a shed forever.
Thanks, Bugley. You know the answer to everything.
Hey Bugley, how many seashells does she sell by the seashore?
Alice, most of the seashore is now uninhabitable, so I would highly recommend she sees her doctor before engaging in any commercial proximity to the ocean.
Bugley, how can I stop worrying about being disappeared by Clan Kelly every time I go to the shop, or take the bus, or sit on a bench, or look at a tree, or point at a bird, or think about snooker, or get out of bed?
Andy, do not worry about Clan Kelly.
Why not, Bugley? They terrify me to my very core.
Because, Andy, we are all just dust in the wind of history.
That's nice perspective, Bugley. Let's never lose sight of that.
Hey Bugley, how do you put a secret hideout in your basement without alerting your narc children and their tracking devices?
Please hold still, Alice, while I report you to the authorities.
Bugley, will things ever get better?
Yes, Andy. The heat death of the universe is only 5 billion years away now.
Oh, it's so nice to have something to look forward to. That's all from The Bug today. Keep it real, Bug fans. Actually, that's terrible advice. Keep it as unreal as you can possibly manage. But that's well done.
This is London Calling. You're here with me, Tash, from Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. In today's world, we've all had to get used to our every move being tracked by the optic on our temples, by the cameras around us, and with every click we make online. Seems like everything we do feeds the big data beast. Why are data giants like Bloom so hungry to get hold of our private information and our metadata? What are they using it for? Will we ever have real private lives again? What is privacy in the digital world? And what happens when capitalism and surveillance become one? As you know, we keep all names confidential. Speaking from a secure location, here's new technology strategist Charles, who worked all over the world trying to keep democracy strong in the face of the data assault.
If you have enough personal data on somebody, you're able to predict what it is that they're going to do. You can tell what they might be passionate about, but mostly you can tell what they fear. And if you can tell what someone fears, then you can manipulate them and you can move them in particular directions. Data is collected on citizens in every possible way. Data is collected through surveillance cameras. Data is collected from television sets. They don't even necessarily need to be super smart television sets. Data is collected from voter records. It's collected from how much power do you use in your house and how much water do you use in your house. In pre-crisis Britain, we got really used to all of our services being free. Everything suddenly became free that was digital. But what people forgot is that if you're not paying for it, then you're the product being sold.
If technology brings out the worst in capitalism, capitalism brings out the worst in technology. Senior academic Alfie tells us how big business repurposes big data.
Historically, what's happened, of course, is that people have traded their privacy for their convenience as smartphones and other kinds of technology came in and became mass-consumed, mass-used items and technological objects. Gradually, people were so attracted to the affordances of these technologies that privacy kind of retreated into the background and into a state we've got now where it's essentially gone. Having this access to this data makes huge tech companies like Bloom so much more powerful than they would be otherwise, and not just in the obvious ways. Of course, there's a lot of worry and fear over what they can do with the data. They can track anyone, find anyone, see what every individual is doing at any point in time. But I think there's even deeper reasons why this data empowers these huge companies to control our society and make us do things. So lots of predictive technologies which are implemented by these tech giants. It's not only interested in knowing what we're going to do, but influencing the patterns of our movement. So technologies might suggest routes to use in the city, places to go, restaurants to go to, cafes to go to, music to listen to. And these suggestions are not just predicting what we might like to do, they're actually influencing the way citizens move, think, eat, meet, and use their city as a space. So London has become a place where a small group of surveillance capitalist companies like Bloom can control the movements of individuals and orchestrate the way they move around their city and the way they essentially live, the things they do, the things they enjoy and the life they lead. So we're really kind of outsourcing our decision making, I would say, to a huge corporate capitalist company, and there's something very, very scary about that indeed. All these technologies can be used to not only influence us to act as the perfect consumer, but also to prevent us from doing radical and revolutionary things. So technologies in foreign nations that have been used are things like heat map features which show where populations are gathering. In-game rewards can be offered to people to take different routes, things like that. Traffic data can be manipulated to prevent people gathering and protesting, as has happened in some of the authoritarian regimes across the world recently. So what we're looking at is not only a set of technologies which make people behave as ideal consumers, but ones which actually can be put to use to prevent radical and disruptive behaviour in the city, which limits the power of any kind of revolutionary force.
So, if you thought you had a private life, get used to it. You don't. And we're not going to reclaim our lives without a fight. I'm Tash, and you've been listening to Buccaneer, keeping the resistance informed. Keep listening, keep fighting, and remember, nobody owns you but you.
Such a flying menace. Oh, don't rush down a flight of stairs, you prick! This is stupid.
Arsehole. Fuck you, yeah? No, I'm done with you.
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? Because going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everyone. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organization who uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth. But that's what they go for. On that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration.
Everything has just got to
where you get corporations and the state operating and basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, you saw exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany. There were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media in post-communist states. How did it go so wrong in Britain?
You know, we're looking at all the wrong things when we look at Britain's crisis. There's a lot of concentration on data, how that's been used and manipulated, and what we haven't looked at is the power structures and the profit that lies behind this. For example, if we examine what actually happened, you know, there's a company that's really very interested in selling passports.
If we're lucky, word hasn't spread that you've hung up your jackboots. Just try to put on your meek, harmless, broken by the system face. Oh, and don't forget your uniform. Looking sharp. Your ex-colleagues won't pay any attention to you unless you let them take a close look.
You don't look familiar.
This is resisting arrest!
A word of caution now we're inside. Any disturbance in here and Nigel Cass will surely cancel his meeting. Avoid being detected by your former colleagues or this operation is a bust.
Intruder alert! Intruder alert!
Nigel won't have anything important on this floor.
You seem to know a lot more about him than the average person.
Yeah. I was Albion too, if you hadn't twigged to that. Me and Cass were close once. Looked up to him.
Huh.
He was bigger than life, fam. Literally a tech genius. And I was just a gearhead kid. I wanted to be like him. That's why I joined up.
Seriously?
Didn't find out he was a murderous prick until later.
Not a chance. Director Cass takes care of his own. You know that.
That is totally uncalled for. Don't need this shite. Toss up.
Everything is proceeding on schedule, and Mr. Cass is as determined as ever to make the White Tower as safe as possible from terrorist attacks. I believe he has ensured that the security measures are properly taken so that the old
As he likes to
They don't boot before coming in. Like I haven't got enough to do. Dealing with construction.
I'm not saying it was last 10 years. I'm just saying, you know, drop me a line. I heard someone saying DedSec was back.
They better not be. Just a bunch of terrorists pretending to have morals.
This door clearly requires a security pass.
Great.
Use one of the nearby computers to create your forgery.
Be careful. You don't want to know what Nigel does with trespassers.
Take yourself through it. What is this rubbish?
There are some parts of the city that need woodworking for. Some heavy boots. You understand?
Yeah, I know what you mean. But there's always the element that's restored.
No. Never seen this one. I thought we were taking care of them.
I've heard some talk on the streets. They may be nothing to report.
I'm not sure. Some rumblings out there. Signs that they may be out in some point.
Well, if they are out there and stirring the pot,
It'll take some time for the forgery to be ready. To keep you occupied, I dragged up still images and a recording from an internal investigation into Cass Sr.'s death.
Let's see it.
Internal Psych Assessment AS001 Subject Cass Nigel. Mr. Cass experienced a deeply traumatic event when he witnessed the murder of his father, Gareth Cass, CEO of Albion. He began exhibiting symptoms soon after what he frequently described as the random event. Mr. Cass's initial symptoms included insomnia, paranoia, distorted blame, and recurring flashbacks. However, he appears to have channeled his anger and self-described powerlessness into his work to ensure that Albion become, quote, a mechanism for preventing unpredictable violence. It seems somewhat of a mania, edging on psychosis. For me, this raises concerns about Mr. Cass's fit.
Hello? You're on my share plan, but I'm gonna take my mic off so I can hear it on this TV instead of inside my ear. That's the only way I can talk to you, if I have my thing inside my ear. And then mute yourself, alright? Oh, never mind. I'm doing a live stream. Just join my live stream. Do you hear it, Caesar? But I'm gonna take my mic off and mute yourself.
That I have been asked to close this file.
So, looks like Cass has some issues to work through. Would have been nice if he had done that before he had to secure London.
Yeah, well, Nigel's never close to anyone but his dad. And me, I guess. Never had much faith in people, really.
Well, the pass is ready, but rough. If this resistance thing doesn't work out, I doubt you'll make a living as a document forger. Let's give it a go anyway. Nigel Cass awaits.
How's it going? Seems a bit tense.
How are you getting on with those metrics? The deadline is coming up quickly. It wouldn't do to miss it. He's presenting to the stakeholders right now.
I know, but if I mess this up, then the whole project is delayed.
Got you bastard.
I don't know how long.
Who would send me this? Don't even joke about that. I don't even want to think about what Director Cass would do. Just...
Welcome to Project Themis. Our new autonomous drones. These drones can identify, isolate, and terminate threats before they can do harm. They can go anywhere, see everything. They could kill a man alone in an alley or in a crowd of hundreds with perfect precision. Themis drones can do what humans have always struggled to. Act immediately and decisively. Without your support, I couldn't stand here and tell you, I promise you, that with the launch of Project Themis, London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Mr. Cass, I was hoping you called us all in here today to discuss the ethical issues.
No, it's all right. The Commissioner cares, as we all do. I admire his passion and his dedication. Let's talk ethics.
Well, for one, Themis goes far beyond Albion's mandate. We really should have more government consultation.
I see. Delay the launch so that we can debate and assess the details.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the Defense Minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must. It's the human element that got us into this. No more debate, delay, indecision. Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize Themis. Now, will our friends at Tidus be ready? You are the cornerstone of the project after all. Do you need to consult any outside parties?
No. We'll be ready.
And just in time. Criminals running our streets. Illegals threatening our families. The police commissioner himself. Assassinated by terrorists. Decisiveness is hard. But here's the best part. Once this decision is made, no more will be required of you.
A building-wide security sweep has been initiated due to document breach.
I warned you about that forgery. Your uniform will help. Don't let them get a close look at you.
I need an exit, Bagley.
The catacombs, fam.
Find the bus. Now.
Attention, a building-wide security sweep has been initiated due to document breach.
I warned you about that forgery. Your uniform will help. Don't let them get a close look at you.
I need an exit, Bagley.
The catacombs, fam.
Now.
Saw Nigel in action in there, didn't you? Man can be very, persuasive.
He's certainly efficient and cold-blooded, and fully committed to rolling out this Themis project. Not good news. Damn. Shit! I do not like this at all. What was that?
Fucking hell. Albion's top secret project is an automated killing machine. And it looks like Cass is almost ready to launch. We have to get Themis out of his hands.
I'll prepare a briefing. Will we see you there, Hamish?
Pretty face, not risking, remember? But patch me in. You and me got some scheming to do, Bagley.
here to join up?
Yeah. Your somewhat reckless teammate. Got themselves thrown in the old clink, I'm afraid. Difficult to resist oppression from behind bars. It will be a while before they're available. Pro tip, however, why not recruit a barrister to the team? I mean, no one exactly likes a barrister, but they do have their function. They should be able to shorten the jail time of imprisoned operatives.
Your safety and security are of utmost importance to Albion.
Holy shit!
I don't like him. Lock it down.
That isn't faulty wiring! Find that hacker!
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is the nation? The nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, it's exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
Charles is an expert in the dark art of surveillance. He worked to set up democratic...
I'll start the briefing whenever you're ready. Here's what we know about Nigel Cass. He's rolling out something called Project Themis. The lack of information on its own is worrisome. But what little we do know is Cass wishes to remove the human element from law enforcement.
We also know he's partnered with Titus, which is never good. Titus does other work with Albion. Nasty shit like autonomous weapons, human targeting algorithms.
So Titus is our best lead to fill in the blanks on the secret project, but their security is notoriously difficult to crack. So Hamish has proposed an intriguing solution.
Albion's been working on a new microdrone, something my contact told me about. That shit's not even in production yet, but if we get the plans, we can manufacture our own.
To bypass Titus security?
Exactly. They're weird as fuck. Supposed to do maintenance on Albion's other drones, but the smallness of them means they can slip into places nothing else can.
Well, there we have it. Our next step is to infiltrate the Albion drone manufacturing lab and get our hands on schematics.
And then you lot will have a fun little gadget to break in the Titus. Love it. I'll shoot you the location. Be careful. Albion doesn't like to share his toys.
Bagley, how's the boy?
You're up. What shall we do today?
Oh, people are just trying my patience.
Whoa, calm down, okay? You're making it serious.
You
How you been? We think you should cut him a little slack. At the end of it all, it's only a few quid, isn't it? It's just the poor bastard's had a tough life.
Excuse me, do you want to just move?
Seriously, what is going on?
Not sure how much help someone who just stands around could be.
I suppose DedSec could always get into basking. I can think of worse side hustles.
Be careful!
How are you doing? Stranger.
All
What are
right.
the odds? Are you supposed to be good at this?
I'm just saying, whether or not it was an immigration can't think of any sort of solution either.
No,
but I think we ought to search it.
But sort of cuddle near the side of the building and wait to follow somebody in. And that's when I saw a little faithful boat coming down the gutter.
Hiya
And then
there.
another behind it. A couple of girls were chasing, laughing and talking. I think it was a race, but they didn't seem to care who won. They did that for an hour, racing them up and down, up and down. No umbrella. They didn't care that it was raining.
I'm not looking for mates, mate.
I'm not gonna let my blood boil over this situation. Yo, how things, my brother? Really?
That is the stupidest
You,
fucking thing I've ever
listen
seen.
to me. I can't believe this is happening.
I'm embarrassed just to be standing here, to be honest.
Sometimes it's the same dog. And I can't say no. I mean,
Move! Ah!
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so powerful. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation. And the only meaning that you will find in your life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of...
Ugh, I'm still sore as fuck, but I'm ready to go when you are.
We knew fighting for change would be painful. Can't stop now.
Corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. But that isn't that rare. I mean, it's exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. There were concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany. There were private companies in those camps making use of that slave labor. Fascism often works with corporations, and it's doing the same now. That's the way in which they track what you do. That's the way in which they track who you talk to. They operate as each other's proxies.
Charles is an expert in the dark arts of surveillance who worked to set up democratic media in post-communist Rome. How did it go so well in this?
You're coming up on the Albion drone facility where the micro drone is being developed.
So cool. Gonna be worth the effort.
It will be. You're gonna need to disable the security system protecting the R&D lab.
Joking. Piss off.
Spread out. Find the suspect.
Moving on. All good.
Drone, perform a search.
No sign of him yet. Moving on. Clear. No one's here. Moving on. Me off. Where are you hiding? No one here. Nobody's here. Searching elsewhere. Nothing here. Redirect. Searching elsewhere.
Let's get this little shit.
All clear. Moving on.
Drone, initial.
Give up. Moving on. No one's here. They could be anywhere. Begin sector search. All clear. Nothing. Moving on. All good. Redirect. I'll try somewhere else. Control, be advised. Possible hacking situation.
Security's down in the R&D lab. The plans for the microdrone will be in there somewhere.
What was that? Bloody hell! Got a man down!
Keep your eyes open. They could be anywhere. Drone, initiate search.
Moving on. No one's here. Nothing here. Redirecting. Suspect is still here.
Searching perimeter.
Wait, what was that noise? No sign of them yet. That was strange.
I've downloaded the schematics. You can leave whenever you like.
The Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening.
Now that we have the schematics, we can make microdrones of our very own.
Better move fast on that, Bags. We need to get into Titus ASAP. Shut down Project Themis before Nigel decides to launch. And with what he was saying, we don't have much time.
And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and podcaster back in the days of pre-crisis hunting.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is.
No, this isn't right.
Got a potential recruit for you. I'll mark them on your map.
I want the targets now. Drone, perform a search.
What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, just admit, but that's what they go for. On that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one. But that isn't that rare. I mean, it's exactly the same thing as in Nazi Germany. Look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany. They were
not gonna let my blood boil over this situation. Easy done.
They'll see what
This is London Calling. You're listening to Buccaneer, your pirate podcast source for what they don't want you to know. I'm Tash, and this time we're giving a special shout out from us to the boys and girls at the Signal and Intelligence Response Service, better known as SIRS. Why not? They're going to be listening anyway. They're listening to everything. But don't worry, we're not going to say anything bad about a massive, unaccountable spy organisation that uses its powers to stifle dissent and shut down free speech. Instead, we're going to look at how SIRS became so. And as usual, we'll keep everyone's names and locations secret, so SIRS doesn't come looking for them. Ian was a veteran political writer and broadcaster back in the days of pre-crisis Britain.
Is the world we're living in now fascist? Well, this is what fascism is. It is the complete and total control of the individual. The desire to basically say to the individual, nothing in your life matters. On an individual basis, you are now part of the whole, part of the nation, and the only meaning that you will find in life is to become part of the nation. What is a nation? A nation doesn't mean anything, right? The nation is basically just encapsulated by the leader that takes over, that claims that he, has this sort of access to the soul of the country, to the soul of the people. He never does, it's just a myth, but that's what they go for. And on that basis, they take the right to control every aspect of your life, from who you talk to where you eat, to where you go to hang out with your friends. And what we're seeing now is a contemporary iteration of this process where you get corporations and the state operating in tandem, basically molded into one another. That isn't that rare. This is exactly the same thing in Nazi Germany. You look at the concentration camps that operated in Nazi Germany, there were private companies.
We've successfully trialled our first micro-drone, and it's officially as cute as the dickens. I've decided to name it Sebastian.
Time to break into Titus.
And take away Nigel Cass's newest toy, Project Themis. Bagley, any idea where that name comes from?
Greek mythology. Themis was the goddess of divine justice. You know, the one with the sword.
Ooh, that is so Nigel fucking Cass.
See? School's useful for something besides social maladjustment. Find the schematics of the building and I'll work out the location of the Themis project.
There we are. Good. You're being arrested. You don't have to say anything, but if you fail to mention something when questioned, something you later rely on, that can harm your defense. You understand? Clear?
All good.
Let's move
I'll
on.
try somewhere else.
Bloody hell! You brute! Deep breath.
Look round for anything named Themis. I got this.
Let's spread out and look.
Well, if I was hiding a top-secret, morally dubious drone project like Themis, I would put it in the secure vault on the lowest level. You will have to hack your way past some pretty serious security, however. The elevator that leads to the secure vault that houses Themis is locked down. You will have to access the bypass terminal to use it. You will require a spider bot.
Checking it out. Bollocks. Where did you get to?
Vigilante deserves extinction for inventing these things.
You'll be using Sebastian and the rest of the microdrones to bypass security. But first you'll have to get by that laser array. I suggest a spider bot and steady nerves.
I've got this.
Security lockdown initiated. Intruder alert.
All right, Sebastian, this is what you and your friends have been training for. Time to crash the security grid for Daddy.
I've been waiting to see what this micro drone can do.
That's the spirit. She'll be pretty sick. This is taking too long, mate. Why don't you just shoot the damn door?
Almost got it. Give me a minute.
Right then, no time for tears. Meet Sebastian, another of our countless microdrone allies. All named Sebastian, of course. You can't iterate on perfection. Terror the cause. Destroy them, Sebastian. And for God's sake, be careful. Made your father very proud, Sebastian. Oh, right. You should be able to access the Themis project room now.
Let's ruin Nigel's fucking day!
London. Once a beacon of civility, now a cesspool of lawlessness. It is clear that humanity can no longer police itself. Fortunately, we don't have to. Welcome to Project Themis. Albion has found a way to apply an existing system, LifeScore, a data aggregator of biometrics, personal information, to our new autonomous drones. These drones can identify, isolate, and terminate threats before they can do harm. They can go anywhere, see everything. They could kill a man alone in an alley or in a crowd of hundreds with perfect precision. Themis drones can do what humans have always struggled to. Act immediately and decisively.
Fuck me, I knew it! The LifeScore algorithm. My algorithm. I should have scrubbed it before I left.
What do you mean, Hamish? You know how Themis works.
No, fam. Well, yeah. This was years ago. We were developing a LifeScore algorithm for what Cass called a peacekeeping system. Supposed to identify vulnerable civilians, not target them.
Fucking hell.
So in theory, Themis could be programmed to target anyone based on any number of parameters.
Exactly. That's the way Cass thinks. Genius, but twisted. We have to stop this. And I know how. We delete the LifeScore data, and Themis is done.
Ah, fuck. Fine. Done.
Yes, we'll have the award ceremony another time. Get out now. This may be entertaining. I've intercepted an audio transmission from Nigel Cass.
No more excuses. This is my city, and I will not have DedSec ruin my plans for it. Themis was poised to change London, the world. And this group of Hamish fucking Balaji, I want them all. They made you all look like fools. They walked calmly into the White Tower, and no one, not one of you, stopped them with all our vaunted security measures. So do any of you have anything to say? Nothing. Well, everyone, and I mean everyone, in the organization will be re-vetted immediately. Someone help them, that's certain, and we will root them out. This time, we will get them all.
Well, that's about done it. Cass is gonna steam about this for a while. No more life score, no more Themis. You did it.
Oi, come on, man. We couldn't have done it without you, and you know it. What do you say we keep this collaboration going on, yeah? Cass is still pulling the strings.
Not much of a joiner, fam. Considering how my days at Albion ended. But I'll be keeping watch on them and Cass. Maybe feed you lots of intel.
And there's still the question of Zero Day. Remember them? Completely gutted DedSec 1.0.
Cass had a hand in that purge, Bagley, and in the bombings, so we'll gladly accept any help you can give us, Hamish. Cheers.
Pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second is that that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories. And it didn't matter whether they were true or not, it just kept people in and it kept them in the loop. So we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything and nobody believed anything at all. And that is...
London, this is 404, the first peer-to-peer hacktivist network. All are welcome. If you want to make a difference, join us. We're taking down the elite, one contract at a time.
Found that on the dark web. Looks like all the cool kids are forming hacker groups these days. But this 404 might actually come in handy in our fight. If all are welcome, that means we are too. I say we infiltrate 404, we get their connections, we get their assets.
If you play nice, they might even help you take out Zero Day. For that matter, maybe they are Zero Day. Only one way to find out. I found Street View images of a CTOS hub that's been covered in 404 graffiti. They're marking their territory like an overexcited chihuahua. Dropping the location of the hub on your map.
And that's a great, fantastic, viral story. And how do you counter that story? With the truth. The only way you can counter it is by saying, no, they didn't. And of course, no one wants to spread that story. No one wants to hear that story. They want to hear the sensationalism. They want to hear how people were victims of violence when in fact they weren't. Or they were victims of insurgent forces when in fact they weren't.
The news isn't neutral, it's a background. Here's media researcher and academic Alfie.
The media has of course been perhaps the key way in which governments have controlled and influenced their populations. So, totalitarian countries have typically used huge mainstream media outlets to sell one kind of news, one kind of biased news to its population. Of course, the media has always played this kind of key role in methods of state control. I think what's happening now is perhaps even more concerning, where previously, in pre-crisis Britain, we had perhaps more diverse voices in the media, but now with the GBB, you're really only seeing...
Pardon me.
That's the CTOS up there.
If you were listening to this, it means you want to learn more about 404. Know what we know. Do what we do. Make your way to the Walkie Talkie Club. It's no big secret that the club is a front for Clan Kelly, but the place has other secrets too. More will be revealed there.
The hub just dumped a massive load of data into your optic. How forward?
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't need you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backers and privatised the corporation. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information. The second...
By now you must have reached 20 Fenchurch Street. The Walkie Talkie Club is located at the top of the building. Lift access only.
You have arrived at the Walkie Talkie Club, where those with more money than sense come to lose both.
The Walkie Talkie Club is frequented by all manner of crooked elites, and the owners, Clan Kelly, have an AI in place to collect blackmail material. Find that AI, and let's see for ourselves what these corrupt scumbags have to hide.
You worked hard and persevered, and now we have nothing. The AI is not actually here, just a relay sending the club's data off-site. I'll find where it's all going, and you find a way out of this loud, obnoxious sweat hole. Deal? Deal. I've done some digging, and it looks like the facial recognition AI was created by BrokerTech.
BrokerTech? They're one of the biggest software companies on the planet. Always keep their noses clean, too. If they're buying blackmail material from the Kellys, that's big news.
Everything the AI is collecting here is being sent directly to BrokerTech HQ. We have to go there to get the data.
Your source for what they don't have to know. This look at my
I say again, all units, we have reports of a hostile in your area. Over. Control, we've received the call. Over.
Control, I've lost sight of the target. Over.
Terminating pursuit and coming back.
You have arrived at BrokerTech, lead innovators in software and AI technology, founded by its CEO, Sky Larson, when she was just 25. Talk about an overachiever.
They store all kinds of dirt here, mostly for rich twats who pay to keep it out of the public eye. I say we put it out there.
I believe that's exactly what our 404 friend has in mind.
I've got this.
Hold it. Swine!
Shit!
search protocol.
Possible suspect or suspects reported to your location. In pursuit. I repeat, we are in pursuit. I've identified a city with a firearm. Engaging target.
Received. We are trailing the target.
Go in for a look.
Negative. No vision of the suspect. Pursuing the target. Over.
Control, we have an officer down.
We are in pursuit. I say again, in pursuit.
This is a nightmare.
Direct hit.
I had them. Where did they go?
Control. I've lost the target. We're on their tail. Over.
Control, I can't see the suspect. Please advise.
A minute ago. Taking fire!
Negative. No sign of the target yet. Control, add suspect to the most wanted list. Over.
I have all the blackmail data, and dear God, people are disgusting. I wonder how this family values politician will appreciate his S&M sessions on public display. Oh well, let's find out. Blackmail data is hereby leaked.
Brilliant. Ka-ching.
Auto
Give me the
drive now
crypto.
enabled.
I'd say it's a thankless job, but someone just sent us a video link named
Auto drive now
thankyou.mp4,
disabled.
so at least it's a one-thank job.
Show me.
You have completed your first contract with 404, the Dark Web's first peer-to-peer hacktivist network. I am in the network. I give the contracts. That's all you need to know about me. I'm nobody. I'm an out. I'm also connected to your optic now, so let's see who you are. Hold on. Are you a DedSec? Oh, this is fucking mint, this. Yeah, that's more like it. Fortune's smiling on us today, DedSec. The world is fucked, and we can help each other set things right. I'm at Somerset House staking out contracts. Come and find me. Let's talk. Laters.
She seems friendly.
Who was that, Bagley?
I've run Nout's name and face through the usual databases and turned up nothing. Oh, Nout. Right, just got that.
She seems cool and all, but is meeting her a good idea? She could backstab us at the drop of a hat.
Worth the risk, in my opinion. She seems like a real DedSec fan, and I'd certainly rather have her as a friend than an enemy.
If she isn't with Zero Day, she might know who is. And if she is with Zero Day, it's probably a trap. Either way, we'll have new information.
Agreed. Let's do it.
Got a potential recruit for you. I'll mark them on your map. The thing you're after is around here.
A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace, an invasion of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple convenient procedure and you can be free forever. Sign up for our waitlist today and join us in the world of tomorrow. Daybreak is the future, and the future is very bright indeed. A chance to Berkutech has led the world in AI innovation. We automated London's black cabs, we brought Bagley to your office. But our latest endeavor is something entirely new. Technology and humanity, two sides of the same coin. That is the heart of Daybreak. A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace, an invasion of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple convenient procedure and you can be free forever. Sign up for our waitlist today join us in the world of tomorrow. Daybreak is the future, and the future is very bright indeed.
Eyes open, weapons ready.
We automated brought Bagley to your optics. But our latest endeavors have been entirely new. Technology and humanity, two sides of the same coin. That is at the heart of Daybreak. A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace and innovation, of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when Daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple convenient procedure and you can be free forever. Sign up for our waitlist today and join us in the world of tomorrow. Daybreak is the future, and the future is very bright. Circuitec has led the world in AI innovation. We cabs, brought Bagley to optics. But our latest endeavors have been tiny. Technology and humanity, two sides of the same coin. That is the heart of Daybreak. A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace and innovation, of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when Daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple new procedure and you can be free forever. Sign up for our waitlist today and join us in the world of tomorrow. Daybreak is the future, and the future is very bright indeed. Circuitec has led the world in AI innovation. We automated London's black cabs, we brought Bagley to your optics. But our latest endeavors have been entirely new. Technology and humanity, two sides of the same coin. That is at the heart of Daybreak. A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace and innovation, of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when Daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple new procedure and you can be free forever. Sign up for our waitlist today and join us in the world of tomorrow. Daybreak is the future, and the future is very bright indeed. Circuitec has led the world in AI innovation. We automated London's black cabs, we brought Bagley to your office. But our latest endeavors have been entirely new. Technology. The heart of Daybreak. A chance to leave the troubles of the world behind. Things may seem bleak now, but a new society awaits you. A society of peace and innovation, of love and prosperity. Join our members to receive updates when Daybreak goes live. Unleash the full potential of your mind. One simple new procedure and you can be free forever.
Now?
Hey, you made it.
Should I call you back?
What? Oh, yeah. He thought I was trespassing.
I set him straight.
Right.
Now, about that message I sent you. I might have been a little overexcited. Oh, shut up! I've been investigating a massive contract. Too massive for the plebs who use 404. This contract is different. Dangerous.
Who is it?
I will tell you. But first I have to trust you. And you have to trust me, you know? So, I'm gonna send you another 404 contract. Let's just get to know each other a little better.
How do I know these targets deserve anything? How do I know you're not setting us up?
Oh, there you go. Asking the right questions. Trust me. I do my research. I know every contract inside out, and they're all part of the problem. London, the world, will be much better off with our help. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to move this twat before he gets his strength back. Laters.
Not a trap. Sounds like we have a potential partnership with this mean, aggressive mystery woman. Give it a think and we'll discuss once you're out of Somerset House.
Solid plan.
Black cabs, we brought Bagley to your office. But our latest endeavour is something entirely new.
Denson was here to do something.
What do I do?
She's interesting. A little off the deep end. Probably not with Zero Day, I think.
She's unconventional, but I can't argue her results. We'd probably benefit from teaming up.
If you decide to become gig economy hacktivists, then I'll support you, because I literally have no choice.
Turning our focus back in the media to look at my former employer, the GBC. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backs and privatised its station. Today, the GBB is a shadow next to itself. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a really commercial model where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more.
I'm here.
Well done. Let me tell you about your contract. The Nexus Tower holds a quantum computer used by Albion. It simulates civilian response to large-scale events. Mass arrests, deportations, bombings.
Fucking hell. They're running sims to see what will go unnoticed. That's some next-level fascism.
It's a minging piece of work. Destroy the quantum computer. That's the contract.
Did you catch that?
Code 3, closest units proceed to alarm location.
Calling for backup.
Activated near you. Survey the area. Over.
Don't see anyone. Looks clear. We'll check another area. No room for error here.
Code 3. Closest units proceed to alarm location. Not seeing anything that could have tripped the alarm.
Don't see anyone. I'll go over there.
Looking to assist. Clear. Let's move on. Stay sharp. Search the area.
Clear. Moving on. Let's keep our eyes peeled.
All's well here. What's next? Let's have a look around.
Area clear. Moving on. Looks clear. We'll check another area. Nothing here.
Another false alarm. Thought these things were supposed to save us work.
You're a natural. Next step is to wait for Now to get back to us. But don't wait here. That would be a shit idea.
Agreed.
Dead good. Glad to establish a foundation of trust. I'm ready to show you the contract I'm investigating. Go to the GBB. You shouldn't have any trouble finding her.
This is London Calling. You're listening to me, Tash, on Buccaneer, your source for what they don't want you to know. This time we're turning our focus back on the media to look at my former employer, the GBB. As we know, the broadcaster has been through a lot of changes since the Hassani government gave in to pressure from its corporate backers and privatised the corporations. Today, the GBB is a shadow of its former self. It's become a tool used by the government to circulate fake news and misinformation. So how did we get here? Where did it all go wrong? How can we tell when our national media has become state propaganda? Our experts speak on conditions of anonymity for their own safety. Here's disinformation and media expert Charles, who's seen free broadcasters built up by journalists and torn down by demagogues all over the world.
So before the media fragmented, there was this voice of authority that was trusted and worthy of trust. Then what we ended up with is a where whether you're talking about an app on a smart device or whether you're talking about a broadcaster, the most important thing was to keep you in that environment for the longest amount of time possible. And because that meant money in their pocket. And in order to do that, a couple of things happened. One was the use of manipulative techniques around behavioral economics, things that would just keep you scrolling or keep you listening or keep you looking for more information.
I've lost the target.
The second is that kind of environment favors sensationalism. And so you got more sensational headlines and more sensational stories, and it didn't matter whether they were true or not. It just kept people in, and it kept
Control, we're returning
so
to HQ.
we ended up in a situation where nobody trusted anything, and nobody believed anything at all. And that is the perfect environment for an authoritarian voice to come in and say,
no way, we are the truth. So the ground for this environment really got created when you
Ah, the GBB, once considered the world's greatest public broadcaster, now considered, quote, quite shit. This is where you'll find Alp's big contract.
I found a surveillance access point on the roof. You won't be able to get in, but at least you'll be able to see inside.
Seriously? If I'd wanted to be harassed by an annoying buzzing thing, I'd took an acre and punched the beam.
Please move along. If you're not on the list, you're not getting in.
There's more to life than just lists, you know.
Please move along. Bugger off.
Well, I'm listening.
Find the suspect.
Yeah, easy with the board, mate. Ha. Oops, sorry. All quiet here.
No one's doing anything about the lies, the villainy, the corruption, except that dead signal. I don't care about it. I was... Ah!
Drones are for the benefit of everyone. Interfering with their services.
Shut it down.
Over there.
Don't see anyone. I'll go over there. Looks clear. Another area.
everywhere. It's clear. I will go that way. Looks clear. We'll check another area. Area clear. Moving on. Don't see anyone. I'll go over there.
We're about to debrief at HQ.
Continuing unlawful activity. Hostile target. Employing combat actions.
Need backup to my location. Drones deployed to arrest the suspect.
Engaging target.
Search.
Initiating search mode.
Looks clear. We'll check another area. It's clear. I will go that way. Don't see anyone. I'll go over there. Moving on. Don't get ambushed.
Currently searching the hotel.
We're empty-handed. Time to get back.
Everything you are is in your brain. Your love, your fear, your dreams, even the cheeky ones, are all electrical signals firing back and forth between your ears. This right here is more powerful than any computer. But it has its limitations. I watched my mother succumb to motor neuron disease, and her loss made me realize that death comes to us all. But what if we could change that? What if we could scan your brain and upload the neural map to the cloud? Well, it would mean the end of human suffering, of death itself, and the beginning of a new society where war, oppression, disease are all worries of the past. Hello, my name is Skye Larson. I'm CEO of BrokerTech, and this is Daybreak. Now, since all of you have signed up for our waitlist, I'm sure you're eager to see how Daybreak really works. But before we do that, I'll ask the technicians at the board to cut the live feed. We wouldn't want any uninvited guests recording these trade secrets. Daybreak is an imaging system which scans the...
I told you before, move up. No effects. Always refer to the source coordinate to confirm unreliable information.
There you have it, DedSec. The big contract.
Wait a minute. You want to go after Skye Larson? Really?
Oh, I want to do more than that. Problem is, Larson hasn't been seen in public in nearly 2 years, and he can't kill a hologram. I've been trying to track her down. I found a home here in London, but that, well...
Larson's a full-on super techer, yeah? Like Yami Bagley, for fuck's sake. Why you got beef with her?
Plenty. But you need to see for yourself. Her mansion's in Westminster. Things you'll see in there.
She disconnected.
Bagley, can you find Larson's home?
Of course, I'll just crack open the yellow pages. Oh, look, there she is, right under B, for billionaires who obviously don't publicise their home address, you sweet, dumb baby. I've narrowed it down to St. James's Square, but that's the best I can do.
That was there. Call her back.
Tried already. She's off.